Hey everybody, welcome back to another update video. In this update video, I'm going to be going on about my STH-10. As you can see here, you can probably barely see parts of it, and that's because I've been holding off on something about it for, I don't know how long it's been, maybe a month or two, something like that. But I thought right about now, after New Year's, would be a good time to share with y'all. Now, most of you guys will probably remember how I got this thing back in May of 2023 and all that crap, and how I planned to get it done, pretty quick, but it's been almost 2 years later and it's still not completely done. But there was some progress that was made about a month or two ago, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you that in a moment here. Pardon the multimeter on the floor, by the way. I was doing some continuity tests and basically just some motor tests with it to see if the windings were good, and they are. So I know the motor is good on its own, which is big thumbs up. But anyways, revealing the parts. Right here is the intake. It's been painted black, as you can tell. All the screens and all that other stuff are sitting on it. Haven't bolted them in. Still need to get these parts painted, obviously, but the angle irons are all red. Now I will mention, you can probably see it in the gleam, there's quite a bit of drip on the parts, mainly the red ones, not really the dark colored ones. That's because the painting conditions, these things where it's painted in weren't great. The paint booth, as far as I was told, was a little too cold for it to be like properly dried, proper weather, all that. There is a little bit of drip on the black pieces, but not as much on the red. And these were also painted by students of the CTC here in Jamestown. I believe they were they're obviously high schoolers, but I'm not sure like what grade they were, like if they were a senior, I don't know. But all I know is that they did a pretty decent job at it. Yeah, there's your angle iron. Pretty glossy. Paint I chose for them was pretty glossy, so it's not, gonna look great over the years. It's of course gonna fade, but all that I care about as of right now is that it's painted, and it probably isn't that great of a paint job, because even when I bolted it not long ago together just to test to see if it would work, even the paint kind of got scratched off by the washers. Same with the intake, same with the horns, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, those are these, and here are the horns. 6 of them are red, 6 of them are black, as I wanted them previously. Move the drill out of the way. What I wanted to do was have alternating colors, like on the stator here. Like here I would have red, black, and going on. But I still need to determine on what to color the stator and the motor. What I might do is a whole black core where the stator is black and the motor. So the main 3 parts, the intake, the stator, and motor, are all black, so it looked pretty cool. But then that would kind of make it uneven with the red, so I might make the motor red, but I also am not sure yet. I might make the stator red, but I'll have to see. Here's the back of my rotor. Pretty scratched up, and I'll explain why. You might see all these weird dots and what looks like almost corrosion and oxidization because it's aluminum. I'm not 100% sure on what it is. It's just there. I tried getting some sandpaper to kind of lightly go against it, and it didn't do much of anything. It's even, some of the aluminum dust is coming off on my hand, as you can see. But it doesn't affect balance or anything. I was like basically grazing kind of like this, I guess, against it. So it doesn't need to be rebalanced. Shear keys in there, all the new hardware. That's another thing. All the new hardware is in that bucket. Only reusing, I think, 1 bolt from the intake, because the bolts for that were pretty much almost pristine too. And I forgot to buy an extra, but since those bolts originally were so good, it's might as well reuse one. It's not gonna hurt. But when I assembled this thing, like not too recently, maybe a month ago or so, since the paint wasn't done great, did scratch off most pretty deeply down to bare metal, or down to the original gray that this thing originally had. Now that is kind of upsetting, but when these horns are actually on there, you know how this part right here and basically the whole port is gonna block all of that missing paint. It's not gonna really affect its physical appearance because even if you were to look at it, most times you're going to see it from a distance, not really up close, unless you're a big like a big what should I call it, like a detail nerd or something like that. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But it is upsetting, I know, but it's something so minor I don't really care. They've been sitting here for so long that they're kind of starting to collect dust. Pretty interesting. But yeah, here's to show the gloss versus, I think this is like semi-gloss, not satin. It's something like gloss, but yeah, this is way more glossy, smooth, really smooth actually. But that of course will fade over time with all that dust and crap on there. But yeah, the stator still has its original primer from when I wanted to paint it way back in like May, June of 2023. I don't know if I will just go over that with more primer and then paint it. I might just have to get them to like just grind it all off for me to put new primer on there and then paint it. I was gonna have them paint it, but I don't want to have them paint the inside of the stator because that can ruin like not really the balance, but can cause the rotor to rub. Even though it's such a small little coat that they add, it still can affect. I know it can like make tolerance better at some point, sometimes, but I don't want to risk nothing. I'm trying to baby this Siren as much as I can. But another thing with painting it like that is that assembling it like with this I guess you can kind of call it proprietary mounting. It can kind of affect how you mount it because you can kind of not really see it, but there's primer in there too, which kind of affects how I assemble the Siren. So most of that's kind of grinded away now because the multiple times I've assembled and disassembled it. But the hardware to the motor, like the lag bolts, have been replaced with new ones. I got those about 1 year ago, January of last year. About yeah, the rotor, the back isn't so pretty. I do want to try polishing it or something to get rid of all those scratch marks, but as far as right now, that's how it's gonna look. And my plans for SirenCon to bring this to people to sign it is still in action, but if you're planning to go and want to sign this, I'm serious when I say this. I'm not joking. No inappropriate drawings on my rotor, please and thank you. Because what I would want is like say you're there, I'm sitting there with my rotor in my lap or something. You could say you want to like sign your name like right here in between these bolts. You could write your name and then like a little tiny appropriate drawing below it if you want. That rule might change until SirenCon. SirenCon's only about 5 months away, but that's the plan as of right now. You can write your name, write your last name if you want, but no inappropriate drawings. Very serious when I say that, because if you write an inappropriate drawing, the signing rotor will be shut down and it will be removed. But aside from that, that's pretty much it all. The stator's primer, again, like I said, needs to be redone, or at least painted over to fix it. Horns and all that are fine. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I can quickly do a quick drill run of the motor, but I do plan to reassemble this soon and get a video of it running inside and not outside in the freezing cold weather, where I can actually get a effective wind down count on this thing, because this drill gets it to like the fastest I've ever gotten it to. That leaf blower got it pretty quick, but not as quick as I wanted. But enough of me rambling on about the updates and crap, I'll just give this thing a quick little drill on. So here we go. And the bearings sound a little noisy. That's because they haven't spun in a while. They're kind of cold too. Because yeah, I even replaced the back bearing last year too. But the front bearing's still the same. The front bearing's perfect, actually. Let me get that wind down. There's your wind down. So it winds down pretty good for no load speed. Like I said at the start of the video, I did run a continuity test, or well, not really continuity test, but a test regardless on the wires here, on the wires to the motor. And it is proven that the windings are good to some extent, but the real way to determine that is by hooking it up to 3-phase, plugging it in to see what happens. But my uncle still wants to end up wiring it to a like a 3-phase welding plug. But I gotta find a way to get this transported to Fargo, where he is, and get it to a shop for him to, wire it up and see, how he wants to do it, because this is a 110-ish, 120-pound-ish motor. Even I can carry it myself, but it's a pain in your ass to carry. I mean, they're small motors. I mean, it's a good build for a 10 horse made back in the early 90s, but I mean, compared to that blower motor, of course Marathon was able to fit 10 horsepower in a smaller cage, but it's still fucking heavy regardless. I mean, those windings and crap, it's like a 13, I think it's like a 13 inch gap from like right here all the way to the back of the end bill. So yeah, that's the STH update as of, I think it's January 2nd of 2025. But yeah, that's basically it with update on the STH. So yeah, peace out and Happy New Year.